Hey, y'all, welcome back to the Late Night Vision Show. This is episode number 116, and I am Jason, owner of Outdoor Legacy, and I've got my co-host and my hunting buddy, Hans from the Hans East Texas YouTube channel with me tonight. What's going on, Hans?
Episode 116 coming in hot, and it is good to be back again another week as we move right on into summer, dealing with the hot temperatures and the desire. You really have to force yourself to want to go outside at night and hunt and sweat all the way down to your underwear.
The humidity is
Yeah.
what we fight. Gosh,
But
so miserable.
I want to let the viewers and the listeners in on something, because you have drawn a line in the sand when it comes to wearing a mask in public, wearing a mask in stores.
Are we going to talk about this?
Just the leading voice for all those that refuse to wear a face mask. Now,
this is going to get us in so much trouble.
So, Jason,
folks, I had no idea he was going to bring this up, because I would have absolutely not approved. This will be the end of our show as we now know it. So all the sponsors are going to leave. Oh, wait. We don't have any sponsors.
So pretty much the talk of the last few weeks when Jason and I talk, it is Jason's refusal to wear a mask out in public and into stores, and his to see if he can circumvent the system and basically run in and out of these stores real quick and pay without being told to put on a mask. No, that's a little exaggerated, but he is drawn a line in the sand and refuses to wear a mask. Now, I've told him that your fight is a very honorable one. It takes a lot of courage. You're
not really.
you know, it's a valiant effort, but it is going to fail.
It is,
and it's going to come crashing down, because you're going to need something. You're going to have to go into a store, and I've had to do it. I put a bandana around my face. I got chased down in a grocery store because I walked in without a mask. And at the grocery store in our little town, they have employees wearing shirts that say "social monitor." And man, if that does not sound like some type of communist country, I don't know what does.
That is insane.
But I got chased down in a grocery store and told to I put my shirt over my face because I didn't have a face mask. So I just put my shirt over my face and walked around. And that, let me tell you, that is a terrible idea.
Right there is everything that's wrong with everything.
So
don't get me
that's
started.
A terrible idea. That will not work, because it's impossible to go grocery shop and keep your hand and your shirt over your face. It's doomed to fail. But Jason, he has, he has given up eating at a lot of his weekly favorite hot spots for lunch. I mean, you've had to kind of go around, and I'll let you get into it.
So let me jump in here before everybody's already sending me hate mail because I'm spreading the coronavirus.
I think the majority of the people listening to this show is going to be applauding you and carrying you on their shoulders if they could.
Maybe. Okay, so here's my deal, folks. My deal is this, and I'm not saying the coronavirus is not real. And I'm not saying it's not deadly, and a lot of people hadn't died. It's just that this whole thing has become politicized.
It has.
And that's my problem with it. It's politics, and I don't even know what to believe from quote unquote our side anymore. I mean, when I see something with a conservative spin on it, I don't even know if that's true anymore. So that concerns me. And when I saw this face mask deal starting, man, I wasn't. I was born at night, and it wasn't last night. And I just know that putting a dirty rag or your underwear or a, whatever, paper towel or something around your face is not stopping this coronavirus. So the first thing I did is I just started going and looking up studies that were done before this thing started, because now I don't trust any of the science because of who's paying for it. They've all got an agenda on both sides. So I found all these studies, legit out of like Oxford, England, stuff from the New England Journal of Medicine, all kinds of stuff where they're studying this stuff in case of a coming pandemic like the one we have. And basically all the results say is this stuff does not work. It's a joke. There are things like N95 masks that work. But again, totally different topic. But anyway, so I was like, I'm not doing it. And then at this time, it wasn't mandatory. It was just encouraged.
Well,
Then
let me just say this.
Governor came in.
I think at this point, though, we all realize the seriousness of COVID-19, and
sure,
it is spreading, and people are getting sick, and unfortunately, there's a lot of people that have gotten sick and passed away, and it's a very unfortunate thing. But at this point, for you, I think it's like a challenge. How long can you go without wearing a mask?
And, yeah, it is. And I want to be clear about something else, too. So it's not that I don't think this is real. My mom is older, and she has barely left her house for very few things since March. Okay? I mean, so it's not like we're just caution to the wind and this is a joke. I don't think it is a joke, but I want to be reasonable about things. And one of my things is if you want to wear a mask, I have no problem with that. And I've told Hans this. I was like, listen, if somebody wears a mask, I don't judge them. I don't look at them funny. I won't comment about it. I'm not going to go home and go, can you believe so-and-so had them? I think everybody needs to make their own health decisions. But when the governor tells me that I've got to go put a diaper on my face and walk around in Walmart, Houston, we got a problem.
Well, you laugh at me.
It doesn't make any sense.
You laugh at me every time I tell you have to put on a bandana to go into the store. So don't. But that's just me.
I will say that. Well, that's you. Yeah. I'm making fun of you. And my wife has had to wear one for work part of the time. Yeah. She is defying our governor. The governor says that his mandate says that every you have to have one on when you're in public and you're in a business or anything like that. She owns a salon with 4 hairdressers in there, and they're not doing it. They're doing it if their customers want them to do it. They're doing it if their customer wears a mask. They're very accommodating, okay, but they're not requiring it. So if somebody doesn't want to, they don't have to. But with that said, the places that I've been going, it doesn't matter because so far, the feed store and the sale barn have not got the memo.
Yeah.
Because I go to both those places once a week, and they're letting me in, and doesn't seem to be a problem. The sale barn, not an issue at all. The mandate did not get there. So now I am going to admit this. By the way, I really haven't been going in and out of stores since this deal. I've only been to a couple stores.
Yeah.
I did sneak into the grocery store the other day. I don't have a mask. I didn't have anything in my truck. If I'd had to, if they'd have said, get a mask on or leave, I'd have been like, well, I got to leave as I don't have anything unless I take my shirt off.
Yeah, for me, it's like going around town. It's almost like a guessing game. You kind of poke your head in and you're like, okay, are we wearing a mask or are we not wearing a mask? What's going on here? I got one in my pocket, a bandana or something in my pocket, but you poke your head in. I was like, okay, all right, we're wearing masks right now. Okay, put it on, and then
exactly.
But if I walk in and people aren't wearing a mask, I'm not wearing one because it's very uncomfortable.
And again, if you I want to be clear, if you want to wear a mask, I have no problem with that. Yeah. I really don't. I mean, that's not. That's what used to be great about America is we got to all make our own choices, and that's where my hang up is on this because I don't believe that it's helping. Prevent me from giving you anything. Now, go ahead.
I got to tell this story though because I got to laughing. I was driving down the interstate. I mean, a major interstate that goes through Texas. People are driving 80 miles an hour, and saw a guy walking down the side of the interstate by himself wearing a mask in like 90-something degree weather on the side of the interstate.
There's no other pedestrians for how far.
Yeah, well, and if there is, they're driving 80 miles an hour past them, I got a little bit chuckled about it. But
well, I will tell you this, and I'm going to admit this here. This is probably going to come to an end sooner than later.
I am rooting for the time that you have to.
I know that you are, and so here's why. We are planning on going on a vacation, and we've had this vacation booked for 12 months, and going back out to New Mexico to the Rocky Mountains, and that state, this little town we go to, we've been going out there my whole life. They are begging us to come. They want it's everybody goes there's Texas
Bring your
and
money.
Texans and Oklahomans. They're begging us, and the governor of their state is basically saying don't come.
Yeah.
So there's mask mandates, and I just know there's no possible way I can drive 15 hours across Texas and into New Mexico and not have to do this at some point. So we weren't going to go. I mean, we had already tried to cancel the trip twice, and the place we were staying, the house, the realty company was begging us to just wait and see. So I told my kids, I was like, kids, do y'all want to go bad enough to wear a mask? And they both said no. And I was like, man, well, I know. And so then I'm starting to be like, man, I'm probably a bad dad. I'm being a bad parent at this point. So anyway, I kind of was trying to soften up on it. Well, what if we just had to go into the gas station? You know, I mean, just that kind of deal. We're not going to be eating out much anyway. Doesn't matter. And so finally, my 5-year-old little boy said, Daddy, we could put bandanas on and we could pretend it's a game.
You could
I was like,
yeah,
we could do that. We could pretend it's a game.
You look like cowboys or something.
Exactly.
Like
so anyway, right now the plan is we're going to go, and I'm going to suck it up and say that before that, I mean, while I'm on the way out there, I know I'm going to have to put a sock over my nose or something. But by the way, I've been looking at all these masks. I've been looking at those like neck gaiter things that you pull up over your, and so I'm trying to find some interesting ones. I like the one with the "Don't tread on me," the one that says "This mask is useless." So I'm gonna get something to show my disdain. But anyway, I'm sure we've ticked off a lot of people talking about this. But again, not making fun of you if you want to do it. Again, your health decisions are yours, not mine. Just like I can already tell you, the next thing coming is this shiny new vaccine that I hope everybody takes, but I ain't taking it. Not till everybody else has had it and hadn't grown a third arm or something.
That's a topic for another show. But let's give the viewers and the listeners what they want. If you're tuned in right now, you've probably heard us teasing the fact that you had nothing to do with this. Absolutely nothing to do with this. So to start at the beginning, my family has some land near where we live, our property, but it's 10 minutes away or so. A buddy of mine and I were hunting one night, middle of the woods, middle of the night, driving around. We actually got kind of turned around. We got off the main trail and kind of went down this side little trail. And we found a grave randomly out in the middle of the woods on our land. Now, the people, I can't say people, the company that owned this land before my family got it, it was an oil company. So it wasn't individually owned. It was company owned. But this is a large piece of property. We're not talking about 2 acres. We're talking about 350 acres. Lots of woods, thick woods, bottomland, lakes, creeks, that kind of stuff. We stumble upon a grave that is fresh, basically brand new. It's got a white cross on it. Y'all probably seen the pictures. That we've gotten so many messages over all social media platforms for Jason and I to dig this thing up. And I really have avoided it, not wanted to do it. I've put it off for several weeks. But the demands from the viewers and listeners to do this was overwhelming. And I know that you've received a lot of messages, Jason.
A lot.
I mean, daily messages on, you got to dig it up. You got to dig it up. There's some of you out there, though, that say, don't do it. Don't dig it up. And I, you know what, completely agree with you. Don't dig it up. But
I want to speak to that.
Yeah.
So I want to be clear here. There were some comments that said, hey, don't dig it up, or, respect it, or call the law, or do whatever. Well, here's the thing. Hans and I were talking about this in private. First of all, this was not a 6-foot-long grave. The dirt was in a square, small area. Yeah. So it wasn't a full human body unless they had it cut up into little pieces.
Oh, God.
So it was, you know what I'm getting at? It was not like somebody buried a person. We didn't think that was what that would be.
Yeah.
Second of all, it's in the middle of nowhere, and it's on their property. This is Hans's family's property. And people who say leave it, this is what I would say. If you woke up tomorrow morning and you walk out in your backyard and there's a cross and there's a pile of dirt, are you just going to go, well, we should respect them. We should leave? No, this is on their land. And I don't care if it's in your backyard or if it's on your back 40, it's their property. And I also believe that this is one of those things where you've got to use your judgment. If this would have looked like something that a body would have been buried in, yeah, call the sheriff's department. But otherwise, these guys are busy because they've got to enforce the governor's mask mandate. So they don't have time to go out here and dig this stuff up. This is not the kind of thing, folks, we're in the country.
Yeah.
And, we're not calling the law to come out there over every little thing. And that's why Hans, and in his defense, videoed it, had a witness. If he'd have dug this up and, depending on what he finds in there, we'd have the law and have a video to show that he's got a whatever he found.
Yeah, you're exactly right. If somebody came onto your property and dug a grave and buried something there, yeah, you're right. You're not just going to say, well, I'm just going to leave it alone and respect it. Now, if it would have said Sparky the dog, was buried here, but it was the circumstance.
And if it had been, if it had been a grave and there'd have been like drag marks with a boot laying there and blood and a T-shirt, I'm calling the law.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got probable cause here that something bad happened.
But the remoteness of this property, not many people live anywhere around here, out in the middle of the woods, on the middle of our property, and the fact that it was a newly dug grave with a freshly painted cross on it. It was a lot of suspicion. Now, you and I had a good idea of what we thought it might be, but there's always that concern that it is. So we videoed it. So we're going to be playing a video here pretty soon of the actual the excavation, or what they call it, exhuming.
It's a disinterment.
Disinter,
is the proper name, because you inter someone or you disinter.
Yeah,
so it's a disinterment.
Or dig it up. I'll just say dig it up.
Dig it out. That works.
But the demands from the listeners and the viewers was so great that this had to be done, because really, and we've got some great people that tune into this show every week, and they're the type of people that are not going to let something go, because I was just waiting to see if they were going to forget about it, and they didn't. And it was week
if
after.
They would have forgotten about it, Hans wouldn't have dug it up. Now, what would have happened is that I was coming up there, and we would have dug it up.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd have warned him. Forget the hogs. We digging this thing up.
Yeah. And you're right. Jason was the leading voice behind this movement of getting Hans to dig up this grave. And I think he could tell how much I really didn't want to do it. But anyway, so
that only pushed me more.
I boxed myself in a corner when I promised everybody that I would have it dug up and be able to show for our next podcast. So I really boxed myself in a corner. I kind of regret that, but it forced me to do what I needed to do. But again, you don't call it, you call the law. If you call the sheriff, they're going to say, well, dig it up and tell us what you find.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
It was done in a very respectable, tasteful manner. And obviously at the end of it, every speck of dirt and the cross was put back exactly where it was supposed to go. But we needed to know what was in there. I mean, you can't just go into somebody's property and bury.
So you better show the video before you give it away.
I know, I'm about to give away. All right, we're going to roll the video. It's about 8 minutes long. It is. So you will notice Jason could not make it. He's actually coming up very soon, but since I boxed myself in the corner, I had to do this right away. I have him set up. I have him set up. Here's his picture. This is Jason. I had him, and I picked the worst picture.
Too much time on his hands. He did.
I picked the worst picture I could find, but I've got his picture taped on a tripod with a phone on top of it, and we're FaceTiming each other so that he can see exactly. Like
I wanted to see what was going on.
So he could see exactly what was going on, and it was kind of like you were there in person, even though you weren't. We had your picture. Buddy Patrick was videoing everything, and he was security and cameraman, just in case. We did hear some cars driving around, which was a little spooky, because this is very, very remote. This road that goes by this property is big enough for not even hardly one car to fit down, let alone two. So, but we're going to get right to the video. We're going to come back on the other side of it and ask yourself now, comment to the video. If you are listening on the audio version, you got to jump over to YouTube at some point and watch this because I think it's pretty interesting. So we'll check y'all back here in a little bit. So we are out here. It is close to 10 o'clock at night. This is not something that I've wanted to do. I'll tell you, Jason has probably driven this more than anybody as far as digging this stupid, I'm not going to say stupid because there's something under there, this grave up. I have not wanted to do it at all, and I've avoided doing it for a long time. But have we gotten more, is there anything that we've done that we've gotten more response for a show or show topic other than digging this grave?
No, absolutely nothing. I was responding to private messages on Facebook this afternoon from people who said they could not wait to see what was coming. This is it. This is probably the biggest feedback of anything we've ever talked about.
Yeah, I've gotten the same feedback. I really don't want to do this. You know how bad I haven't wanted to do this. Thankfully, my buddy Patrick's here working the camera. He's got my back. He's got a rifle close by just in case something happens that we need some backup.
I hope that nothing happens. You need it.
I've got my preferred shovel, just a simple spade shovel, and I brought one of these hoe-looking things to cover it back up with quickly. Now I'm about to get into this thing. All right, should I take the cross out or not? I mean, that's what I've been really freaking out about the most.
I think it's totally up to you what you want to do.
I think you got to dig. It's not a big grave, so it can't be anything big.
That's good. So
I'm going to take the cross out and respectfully put it somewhere.
Hey. So just, I saw the original picture. How old does that cross look?
It looks new. I mean, it looks new. I mean, freshly painted.
Hand painted? Is it brush painted? I need to know a little more.
Looks more like spray paint.
Okay.
But let's see, it's almost like I've got the flag. I don't want it to fall and hit the ground. So I'm going to put it right there.
Okay.
Lean it up there. Okay. Oh, man. Here we go. Oh, yeah. All right, you want to take bets on what this thing is, Jason?
Yeah.
Let's take bets on what. Let's take bets on what it is and how deep it is, because I'm gonna give y'all about 2 feet. It's any deeper than that, y'all can forget about it. Cause
I'm gonna say that it's not deep, and I'm gonna say that it is. I hope that it's a dog.
Yeah.
That's not what I really think it is, but I hope.
Oh gosh.
So is the dirt digging pretty easy? Tell us about this as we're going.
Dirt's digging very nicely.
Is it like sand? What are we looking at here?
It's a mixture of sand and other mineral deposits. I'm gonna switch sides here. A lot of mineral deposits in this thing, but I'm already starting to get out of breath.
You got Patrick over there. What does Patrick think?
He thinks I'm stupid for doing this. Just about everybody else. But my wife sent me a message. She said, okay, I have to admit, I am kind of curious.
Oh, man. Well.
Ooh, that kind of went in very easily. This thing might be a little bit deeper than we thought, y'all.
Really?
Yeah.
That makes it worse
it does.
For what it might be.
Because if I'm burying a dog, you're going to get about 8-10 inches out of me, and I'll be done.
Exactly.
You watching your back just in case you hear people coming after us, Patrick?
10-4.
All right. It's coming up pretty easy, though.
So, is that what do you have there for your light? You got a tripod or something set up with light?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, you haven't hit anything yet?
No. I mean, assuming that I'm digging right where the cross was.
Well, I can tell you this. In my part of the country, you couldn't dig that deep if it hadn't already been studied hard as a rock right now, dry. We don't have much sand.
What if somebody just put a random cross out here just to remind people to think about Jesus?
Well,
with nothing under it.
That'd be a good thing. Man. Well, I hate to say this, but I was telling the story here tonight. We had family over, and my kids heard about it, and they were just like passing by.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're in there scared to death, can't go to sleep.
All right, we've got. I don't mean to cut you off here. You got your flashlight on you, Patrick?
Yep.
Oh, brother.
What the heck is that?
What?
It's like a shirt. That is not a good sign.
Oh, this is getting worse by the minute.
Why do I instantly regret this?
What if it's a gun or something? No, nobody buried a gun. Oh gosh, I'm getting sick of my stomach worrying
There's a
about
sheet.
it.
Are you freaking out?
It's not my favorite thing to do right now.
I'm with Patrick, and I'm 2 hours away.
Dude, there's a big blanket.
Oh gosh, it's got to be a dog, man. Use your pickaxe. Oh gosh, he's dragging it out. I'm a little sick right now.
All right.
The anticipation.
All right. Get that light.
Mm-hmm.
What we have here, y'all, we got a dog. Would you confirm that?
That is definitely a dog.
Patrick, is it a dog?
It is definitely a dog.
Definitely a dog.
So much better.
I was a little concerned when it was in a big blanket.
Is there a collar on it?
No. Surprisingly, it doesn't stink.
I don't know if that's good or bad.
We're going to hell for this, I'm pretty sure.
I'm feeling better already, man. I'm so relieved.
All right. So, out of breath. Little concerned when I saw the blanket.
Man, you had me.
Okay, it's starting to stink now. Little concerned when I saw the blanket, but it is definitely a canine. So thank goodness. No cops need to be called. The reason why we're out here again, this is our land, our family's land. Nobody should be burying anything out here. I don't know why somebody would bury their dog out here.
In the middle of the woods.
In the middle of the woods. But thankfully, it is not anything we should be concerned about. I'm going to put it back. A happy ending. I'm going to put it back, cover it back up, put the cross back, and it'll be like it never even happened.
Exactly.
Everybody, okay.
It needed to happen, though.
It needed to happen. I'm really liking your picture here that we got below the screen
so
here.
They can see my picture.
They can see your picture. But definitely a dog.
Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you this. My kids are probably going to be in my bed tonight later because they heard the story. So I'm going to be glad to be able to tell them it's just a dog. Because if it was anything else, I was going to have to lie to my kids. So.
All right, folks.
All right.
That's it.
Good deal. Well, get that thing covered up.
Yeah.
All right, folks, we're back. I hope that you enjoyed that little clip there. I just tell you.
Let me ask you this. Did you like that? Was the production value as the executive producer? How was the production value of that?
I was
a
actually
lot of work.
Very impressed. It was a lot of work. I was impressed. I'm going to say this about the whole thing is that I thought it was funny. I was having a good time on FaceTime there watching you, and I could see Patrick in the background. My problem was that when you got to the point of actually finding the blanket, I'm not lying, my heart was up in here, and I was just like, it was like the part when a suspense movie, I just couldn't stand it any longer.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if I'm disappointed. I guess at the end of the day, I'm really glad
it wasn't
anything worse.
It wasn't what I hoped for, which was like a box of gold or
gold,
old
I know.
coins or something. So it wasn't that.
That'd have been good.
You know, I was thinking, well, maybe it's not a cross, maybe it's an X, and it just got turned. You know,
That's right.
You know, X marks the spot for the valuables, but no, it was not that. Yeah, the production value, there was a lot of setup in that. Tripods, cameras, lights. It cost me, we talked about this, it cost me about $10 in ink to print out your picture on paper. So there was a lot involved.
That was your choice.
There was a lot in that. You know, just trying to do it for the comedy, to try to keep it lighthearted. But I will tell you this. You probably noticed that there was a black box over the dog that was in the video. Really did that for a couple of reasons, out of respect, you know, and because that could be somebody's pet that lives around me, you know, that lives in my town, but also because we're not trying to give YouTube a reason to, you know, kill the show.
Know, that's interesting. I never thought that when we started this channel, there would be a time we would have to put a black box over anything that we showed on this channel.
If you're tuning into this show for the first time, this is not anything about what this show is about at all.
Not at all.
You know,
this is
I would tell you,
strangest show. This is because it's summer.
Yeah,
it's 100 degrees and it's 90% humidity outside.
I was about to say that. It is summer. It's the slowest time of the year in the hunting industry as far as night vision, thermal optics. And now it is. We're still very busy, and thank goodness for that. But
it's a slower time, and it's hard to get out and hunt. Yep. It's hard for us to get excited about talking about hunting. I mean, we're still hunting, but it's hunting, a chore.
Still hunting 6 nights a week. But yeah, if for the industry, this is a slower time of year. Things get ramped up in the fall. So, you know, we typically talk about hunting, hog hunting, coyote hunting, but the demand for this show has been so great that we had to dedicate a whole show for it.
That's right.
It was put a box over it, again, out of respect, and, you know, didn't want to gross people out. The dog was freshly buried.
I think you've said enough.
Yeah.
I don't know that you should go into it.
Yeah.
No,
but it did freak me out when I saw when I first.
Oh man!
You were talking, and I remember I hit the, you know, what ended up being a comforter or a big blanket from a bed. But when I first saw it, it looked like it's just a piece of fabric or a shirt, and I felt like all the blood rushed out of my face. And I looked up at Patrick, and I think I said, "Are you spooked out by this, or is this, you know, something like that?" Because it was, I was concerned. You know,
I was at that point.
Yeah, because
big time.
And very relieved at what it was, and like we said before the video, put everything back exactly the way it was, you know, and put the cross back on it. We're going to leave it alone. We know what it is. There's no cause for concern. We didn't have to call the police, but we're thankful for what it was, and we'll let it rest in peace now. But it was concerning. I was freaked out for a little bit.
It was, at the end of the day, a happy ending. There was no major cause for concern. But it was a pretty funny story, and we did. So I have to tell you, I have to admit, because I'm in the same boat as Hans. I hunt my own property most of the time, and I'm crawling all over the place. I mean, when Hans was down here a couple of weeks ago, you know, we shot hogs. They ran across the, you know, out of the pasture through the fence, and I'm over there digging around. So I know exactly what he's talking about, how this happens. If I came up on some fresh grave, I would be flipped out.
Exactly.
I mean,
exactly. Well, I will make this promise to everybody on this show. If I ever find anything interesting out in the woods again, I'm never telling anybody on this show. I'm not telling you, because y'all are going to make me do something that I don't want to do. And I just,
oh, come on.
No, I did want to know. I was, you know, I said in the video, but, all of our friends and family, and I mean, my wife was texting me, you know, saying that she was, you know, at first she wasn't really, I don't think, too concerned or excited about it or anything. But when I was getting there at the property to dig it up, she's like, I have to admit, I'm pretty curious about what's down there. And everybody that I know has made all kinds of guesses, from you name it, from the very, very bad to the stupid, you know. And so, but I'm not telling anybody if I find anything else out in the woods. I've seen some weird stuff before. You know, when you're in the woods as much as Jason and I are, I mean, 6 nights a week in some of the most remote places in Texas where some people haven't walked in since the Indians were running around.
Exactly.
I mean, you see some interesting things. So, but
some weird things.
I'm glad that's over. So we can definitely move on. Hey, are you anything else you want to say about the?
Oh, I was just going to say, I'm sure that there's some of our listeners that are really glad it's over because they're skipping this show and say, get back to the hog and the cow.
Well, we are definitely. We've got. I know Jason mentioned that he's going to be going on vacation. He did this last summer. We will still have shows for you. We've got. I guess I can go ahead and talk about this. We've got an interview.
Hang on, can you talk about this?
Yeah. We've already confirmed it. I think
Sure.
we're good. Yeah,
okay.
We've got an interview.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, we've got.
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, we've got an interview lined up with a gentleman with a Sniper Hog Lights, and with infrared light company. We've talked about
Jason and those guys over there. Yeah, we're gonna have them on here, and as y'all know, we've done the reviews on their stuff, and I don't know who all's gonna be. There's several. I know it's Jason and maybe Robert. I'm not sure.
But we have lined that up. We're going to be having them on the show very soon. We're excited about doing it. We use their products. We suggest and sell their products. So for all of you night vision hunters out there that want to learn more about IR lights, I can't imagine anybody else that would know more about it than these guys. So we've got that lined up. Also, we're going to be continuing to talk hog predator hunting. Hopefully we'll have some things, some good developments coming up here pretty soon. We'll be talking about. But one piece of good news, I'll tell people. Mm-hmm. My buddy Jason is coming to Ben Wheeler to go hunt with me this week, and I'm very excited about that.
So by the time we get to this next show, the next week, we should have some info from that. So good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise, I will be going up there to hunt with Mr. Hans, and I don't want to give too much away. And every time it's one of those things like when we say we're going hunting, then we kind of feel like we're jinxing ourselves. We won't see any hogs. Last time when Hans came down here a couple weeks ago, we had a great hunt, about as much success as we could ever hope for.
Oh, yeah.
This time...
Yeah, you're putting all the pressure on me now.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just putting the pressure on him. That's all I ask is just we killed, what, 7, 8? We just need to kill about 10.
So
that's all.
Anybody that knows me knows that hogs don't get a pass. They don't get. I mean, I don't care if it's.
They do not.
If it's one hog, if it's 20 hog, if it's a small hog, or if it's a giant hog, no hog gets a pass. And I've been out just because Jason's coming up. I want to give him a good experience, return the favor for what he did to me with setting me up with hogs. I've got some spots that I've been baiting up, and I've gone out several times in the last 4 days. I have not. I don't think I fired.
There is so much more to this story that we can't say that you are just lying. It is not all for me.
Well,
we are hoping. I'm going to say this much: if all goes well, we hope to be looking at a new scope or two. That are some things that are coming to the market very soon that we've been talking about on this show for several months. It's just some of the scopes that have been on pre-order. And hopefully be getting to test some of those this week if all goes well on that. So we'll see. But Hans has, in his defense, he's been sending me pictures from his cell cameras, and it is just killing him to not be out there shooting those hogs.
Let me tell you this. So, like I said, I don't pass on hogs. I've gone out the last 4 or 5 days and nights throwing out corn, basically just waving at hogs as I drive by, not shooting them. I mean, which is good because I need to get video with some of the scopes that we're testing and reviewing right now. So I've been getting some good video, but we drove by a group of hogs that was asleep in the woods, and they were probably 20 yards from us, and there was probably 7 of them just laying there sleeping. We just sat there and looked at them. And it was tough, man. Drove on by.
I'm surprised you haven't had to get professional counseling.
I mean, drove.
Because this is.
I told my buddy, I was like, "Well, we're just gonna have to let him live one more night." But drove down, saw another hog. Just head was so buried so far in a bait hole that all you could see was his back legs and his butt. I could have snuck up on him and thrown a rock at him. That's how clueless he was. And I just sat there and watched him. I didn't shoot him because I want my buddy Jason to have a good experience. I want I want to get some good videos. And so I have been passing on everything, but
we'll see.
We'll be talking a little bit about that hunt and tune back in to see if we get some success. And if not, we're going to get some great videos of some cows. How about that?
That's exactly
That's a promise.
Right.
I guaranteed them some cow videos.
Guaranteed cows, so we can definitely good.
Well,
it'll be fun either way.
Yep. Thank you all for joining us. Like I said, if this is your first time tuning in the show, this is not what this show is about. We don't do this on
the worst show to ever listen to.
This is the worst show probably for us, but a lot of people out there I know are sitting back and cheering that this finally happened because of all the response that we got. But we've done it. We've fulfilled our commitment. But thank you all for joining us. As always, if you are interested in anything, night vision, thermal optics, scopes, anything, IR lights, all that stuff related to that stuff, you can give Jason a call at 877-350-1818. You can find all of this stuff on his fancy website, outdoorlegacygear.com. You can find him on Facebook. We talked here a while back about how he likes to hang out on some of the forums. You will find him over there sometimes answering questions. You can find him on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Outdoor Legacy Gear. You can find me on YouTube at Hans ETX, that's Hans ETX, also on Instagram. You can find all of our episodes, and I would invite you to go to our website, thelatenightvision.show.com. You can find all of our past episodes. It is a very cool website, and I suspect that at some point we're going to do more with it, but it's doing pretty well by itself right now. And I think I've mentioned everything, haven't I?
I think you covered about it.
Yeah.
Well, folks, we appreciate y'all coming back. Thanks for listening, and we hope you enjoyed it. This was definitely a show that Hans and I would not have chosen to do on our own, so this was by listener and viewer demand, and we hope you enjoyed it. We did have a good time with it, and it was nice to kind of take a break from some of the scope reviews and a lot of the heavier, meatier stuff, but we do like to have a good time and cut up sometimes. So hopefully this show was enjoyable for everybody. But continue to come back, like, subscribe, follow, whatever it is, so that you never miss an episode. We plan to be back here again next Thursday. And between now and then, stay safe in the fields and keep making those bacon pancakes.